Well, there it is, guys. The Premier League unbeaten run comes to an end, and it's a frustrating one. It's an exhausting one. It's a tiring one. It's an annoying one. You probably think I'm just going to spend the next 10, 15 minutes talking about VAR and how we were robbed and how decisions went against us. But can I just say, first of all, you want to win convincingly. You don't want it to come down to a wrong decision, okay? I know it's not always possible to put in a convincing 2-0, 3-0 performance and result. I know that. But that's what you want. You don't want to come away from a game going, well, the referee cost us today. It happens a lot. It happened pre-VAR. It happens with VAR. It just is what it is. It's football. It's sport in general whenever there's a referee involved. It's never, ever consistently perfect. But I have to say this again. I hate VAR with a passion. Football, honestly, is one of the greatest things on this planet. It's one of my favourite things in life. I absolutely live and die for football. I love it so much. It's all I want to watch. It's all I want to play when it comes to playing FIFA. And I love it. But it's ruining it for me. It genuinely is. It's so frustrating. And it's not just because today where a couple of decisions have gone against us and for us, by the way. The Havertz challenge, you never know. But it's seeing it in other games as well. Watching the United Fulham game earlier on, Man United's first goal should have stood, in my opinion. I know when you go by the letter of the law, it wouldn't have counted. I get that, but it's just the fact that we're pinpointing these tiny little imperfections in our game now. We're talking centimetres at times, millimetres at times. Today, with the ball going out of play, it looks like it's out of play. It really does. I'll show you an image shortly. But obviously, it's impossible to know for sure because technology doesn't exist in football these days, right? Surely there's a way we can see that. And then you go on to whether it's a foul, whether it's an offside. And it's just picking out all of these little things. Anything you can do in football now to just find imperfections. And I just hate it. I really do. As an Arsenal fan, I'm sitting here wishing they just gave that goal play on because I don't want that to happen in general. It doesn't have to be anything to do with Arsenal. I don't want the game being interrupted constantly, finding these teeny little things. I loved it when a player went through on goal. You watch the replay if they've scored, or even if they haven't, and you go, gosh, that does look a bit close, doesn't it? Because they're so tight, but there was no way of really knowing. You just kind of gave the advantage to the attacker most of the time. Football was more fun. I'm finding it very difficult to convey what I'm thinking right now. I'm just fed up with VAR. You can say it's the officials using it, but the fact is the technology is there, so the officiating is bad because it's there. You know, if there was no VAR, we wouldn't be talking about half of this stuff, not even a third of these things. Every single football match, VAR, referees this, referees that. I'm sick of it. I'm genuinely sick of it. I really am. And it's so frustratingly boring every single game. Now, did Newcastle deserve to win today? I don't think they deserve to lose. Did Arsenal deserve to win today? I don't think they deserve to lose. I think this was absolutely one of those games where either team could have won it and Newcastle snatched it. It just is exactly that. Anyone could have nicked it at the end. And obviously the goal came a little bit earlier than at the end, 64 minutes in. But it is one of those matches where I think a draw would have been fair, but also if a team just about sneaks it, then fair play to them. Fair play to them. And it just happened to be Newcastle today. We could have got a goal in the 90th minute, gone away with a 1-0 win, and I would have been saying the exact same thing, that I don't think Newcastle deserved to lose today and whatever. It was a tight game. You've got two really high-quality sides. And, you know, you might not be a fan of how Newcastle have built this team in terms of spending absolutely insane amounts of money, but have they really? When you look at it, when you really look at the numbers, they've built it, I would say, pretty convincingly, and I would say quite smartly. I don't see them as like a Man City blowing 50 million on a left back three years in a row and two right backs and then throwing 100 mil there and 100 mil there and 100 mil there. Yes, Newcastle spent money, but so have Arsenal. I think a lot of people have a problem with where the money has come from and the fact that Newcastle are absolutely... I have to be really careful with what I say here. I think, Man City do it too, but they have sneaky off the books ways of getting money into the club and therefore usable, if that makes any sense. Seeing these sponsorships with Twitter accounts with 100 followers, and it's a bit distasteful sometimes, but you can't deny it. They're incredibly good on the pitch. They're very well coached, and they're very difficult to beat. Do you disagree? So I can understand why people are frustrated and call it dirty oil money or whatever. But the fact is, Arsenal have also spent a lot of money. We are capable of putting in better performances. This season has been poor so far, I would say, and somehow we're still going to be third. Obviously we could drop down with Liverpool and Villa yet to play, but we're still doing okay, even though we're not really getting going. And why is it? Why are we not getting into that second gear, third gear this season? Why aren't we finding that top form? I still think we need a proper out-and-out striker. I mean, did Nketiah do anything today? Anything? I'm trying to think now. Saka hasn't been the same since he was out for a couple of weeks. He just hasn't been able to get going either. Martinelli, the amount of times he's crossed it and not found anyone, frustrating. Havertz, reckless, almost getting himself sent off, and again, not really giving us anything at all. Declan Rice, my man of the match again. Just the only player right now that's consistently putting in insane performances. Always 7, 8, 9 out of 10. Jorginho wasn't awful, but again, just doesn't have the mobility. Ben White, Saliba, Gabriel, Tomiyasu, they were all okay, and Raya didn't have much to do, to be honest with you. I don't think Newcastle really threatened us that often. Pointless cameo from Fabio Vieira. Not sure what he really did. I think against Newcastle, away from home, the last player you need really is a small child running around on the pitch. He's so small. Against Newcastle, you just can't get away with it because they're such a strong physical team. And I've got to say, they're a bunch of babies sometimes. I really do believe that Newcastle, being one of the most physical sides, the sheer height that they have a huge height advantage in most of their games. Yet as soon as they get a little bit, as soon as Arsenal give them some back, they all start to cry and they're picking up yellow cards. And it's just that is really frustrating, because if you're going to give it, you need to be able to take it. And physicality is huge in the Premier League. We all know that. There's a reason that some teams nowadays, you look at Man City and now Arsenal, effectively playing 4 centre-backs as their back four. We're not seeing the pacey wing-backs so much anymore, and I think that's because the physicality is calling for taller, stronger players, quicker players, and that's definitely a trend that's going to continue. Trossard didn't get enough time. I'm not sure why we're bringing on Trossard in the 79th minute. What's he going to do? How's he going to impact the game? Zinchenko didn't really particularly do much. I'm surprised the possession is only. There we go. Is only 60%. It felt a lot higher than that. Again, stats wise, we're somewhat dominating, doing better, but it just means nothing. It's just like the West Ham game. We're toothless. We need a Tone, a Vlahovic, an Osimhen, someone to play as our number 9 that isn't constantly injured. Jesus, who literally can't, for the life of him, score away from home. And Nketiah has gone, I think it's almost 20 games now away from home without scoring. Arsenal striker. Title contenders Arsenal striker. That doesn't cut it. We need someone that's just more consistently, and I guess just better. I love Jesus, but I don't think he would have made much of a difference today. We need a battering ram. We need someone that's going to lead the line up top, win headers, hold up the ball. I don't know who's available other than Tone at this point, honestly. Who's going to do that role? That's not up to me. That's up to the club. We so nearly won the league last year, and I do believe if we had a Tone, I think we would have done it. And obviously Saliba getting injured, we won't forget about that. This sucks because we beat them in May. I thought maybe today we'd be able to do it again. Without Ødegaard, though, that's always a challenge. But I do need to say fair play to Newcastle because they did nothing wrong today. The only thing that I really have a massive complaint about is Bruno. He's literally ran behind Jorginho and KSI'd him. Just elbowed him. Completely on purpose. He's looking directly at Jorginho. The ball's gone. And VAR have checked it and determined nothing wrong. Not even a yellow. Now, that blows my mind. And obviously, we have got other decisions that weren't given for us today. This is offside. I'm pretty sure by the letter of the law, you need 2 Arsenal defenders in this situation to play. Who was it? The one who looks like my grandma, Gordon onside. Okay, maybe it's a bit of a grey area, whatever. This is a foul. It just is. He's literally pushing down on Gabriel. Again, some people might say that Gabriel was bending down to try and reach the ball or whatever. I kind of understand that, potentially. I don't think you guys can see this very well because it's off my camera. Hang on, let me just go onto my profile. Please follow me on Twitter, by the way. But you can see it here. Now, I don't know about you guys. You can't see it. And yes, obviously, I've edited Ant and Dec on it. It's, again, some people are going to say that's definitely in play. You can see that the ball would come down on the edge of the ball, would come down onto the line. A lot of people, including myself, see that and think, well, that's out of play. But then I'm contradicting myself by saying that VAR is a problem and that we shouldn't need it because the goal was given, and if VAR wasn't there, we wouldn't have even been talking about this. Well, we would have. We would have been going, oh, that looks like it's out of play, but the referee didn't see it. You see how much better that is than, how have VAR done that? Have they not seen this? It's just boring. Like, I miss the days where referees just made human errors and we kind of just went, oh, that sucks. The referee's rubbish. Instead, now it's just so much more, because it is more accurate. VAR is incredible technology. You know, let's be honest, it is fascinatingly good. It's very, very good in terms of the way the cameras are picking things up, the way it's relayed. It's very good. It's slow, but it's good. But the way we're using it, the way it's just constantly interrupting the game, it's ruining emotional moments. Bin it off, please. I'm sick of it. I really am. But here's the Premier League table. Of course, we've got Sunday to come, so it is going to move around a bit. I anticipate that Villa will beat Nottingham Forest and Liverpool will beat Luton, so we'll be 5th place come the end of the weekend. But do you know what? It's a long season. There's a long way to go. There's a long way to go. That was exhausting. I had my flu jab yesterday, and that is killing me. My arm is dead. I feel like I've got symptoms. You know how it can knock you out, and this is just like the last thing I needed was an Arsenal loss, especially such a controversial one. Oh, and last thing, Havertz. I don't think that would have been a red card. I don't think it should have been a red card, and I'm glad it wasn't. It was a reckless challenge, but the contact wasn't as bad as people are making it out to be. Just saying.